Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
And I inhaled. I did inhale.
She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
First of all, I couldn't be more ready for this debate tonight, and I'm sure you guys are too. Still debating whether or not I'm gonna stream it, but imagine if Tulsi Gabbard was in this debate tonight against Kamala Harris again. Oh my gosh, I would love to see a part 2, the rematch. I think that'd be more in demand than Mike Tyson fight. You know what I'm saying? Like at the height of it. Not for most, but for me. Anyhow, speaking of Kamala Harris being somebody whom locked criminals up for marijuana and then going on to brag about listening to Tupac while smoking marijuana, that turns out to even be a lie in itself. So at least she's admitted to smoking marijuana, but at the time that she was alleging she was listening to Tupac, he was 11. Yeah, 11 years old. Yeah, the dude that ain't had an album out yet. He had a record out yet. What was she talking about? Huh? But I'm glad that this ad came out. Tulsi truly destroyed Kamala Harris in that debate. And shout out to RFK Jr. for now exposing the party that abandoned him. All right. Now, moving on. I know we just did a video about CNN and their disgusting remarks towards Melania Trump, saying that she's irrelevant as it pertains to her being concerned about Donald Trump and what took place with the assassination attempt. But right here, Charlie Kirk posted, yes, again, you know, CNN might be a Gemini. That might be the zodiac sign. I'm a Gemini, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily flip-flop, you know, you got some of those type of Gemini, but they be flip-flopping. But anyway, it says CNN, yes, CNN exposes just how far left Kamala Harris is. According to the ACLU questionnaire from 2019, Kamala is in favor of decriminalizing illegal immigration, taxpayer-funded gender transitions for illegals, defunding ICE, ending ICE detainers, and decriminalizing all drugs, including heroin, crack, and even fentanyl. CNN even asked for clarification, and Kamala Harris didn't deny any of it. This is wild.
For the first time on her campaign website, a K-file investigation has uncovered, meantime, a 2019 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what K-file found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers. And I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said she
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. Oh. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
I mean, these are things that, you know, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants. And yet this, as you say, written and verbally. You know, what else, you know, did you find?
Well, let's take a look at her answer here on drugs. She got asked about, you know, the question from the ACLU was, since drug use is better addressed as a public health issue through treatment and other programming, will you support the decriminalization at the federal level of all drug possession for personal use? And Harris answers yes. Now, what would that mean? Well, it mean the federal all drug possession. That's not just marijuana, which she alluded to in her answer to this question, but it also would mean
it's federal level of all drug possession,
fentanyl, crack,
use.
You know, cocaine, things like that. Yeah.
Have they responded to you on her changes on these issues?
So we did put this question to the Harris campaign about the entire ACLU questionnaire, and the Harris campaign didn't answer any questions from CNN. Instead, they just provided a statement from an unnamed Harris campaign advisor that just said, the vice president's positions have been shaped by 3 years of effective governance as part of the Biden-Harris administration. Now, they declined to CNN to elaborate on what those positions were. And then they also provided this statement, which they attributed to a spokesperson saying, as president, she will take that same pragmatic approach, focusing on common sense solutions for the sake of progress. So where does she stand on this, all this questionnaire?
What does that even mean?
Today, we don't know, and they won't say.
It's pretty incredible stuff. And thank you very much, Andrew K-File, for this reporting.
I just sit back and wonder, do they answer any, like, does she has a reasonable response for anything? Anything at all? If this is what the debate is going to be like tonight, come on. I mean, really? This is y'all, you know? Nah, man. I'm tired. I don't want to hear nothing about some being unburdened by what it's been. Somebody says, ask yourself why this hit piece drops right before the debate. Who on the Democrat side greenlit this? My guess, the Bidens are stirring the pot, throwing flames on the Harris campaign. Don't forget, Harris took over Biden's campaign team. Who's feeling betrayed now? That's, you know, one way to look at it. Somebody else says that y'all better get out and vote because your life depends on it. Somebody says, wait, Kamala supports what now? Transgender medical care on our dime for detained migrants. Yep. They said pledge to end migrant detention. Taxpayer-funded gender care transition surgeries for detained migrants. Yep, it definitely says / immigrant the detention by, I said a migrant earlier, my dumb butt. Immigrant detention by 50%, close all family private facilities, decrease funding for ICE and ICE detain. Yep. CNN stumbled into some journalism. This is not funny at all. Kamala will keep going farther and farther until she will keep going farther left until she's voted out of office. She'll never stop. And it's terrifying. And that's what we're going to realize tonight, man. I don't think she'll be able to hold on. I'm calling it right now. I don't think she'll be able to hold on at all.
As you remember, Jesse, she was treated like with kid gloves by the mainstream propaganda media. She was treated with kid gloves, even by every other candidate that was on that debate stage. No one questioned her, challenged her, or called her out for the record as prosecutor that she claimed to be proud of. She talked every day about how she'd be a prosecutor president, but no one questioned her about what that record was and how that would translate if she were president. And I pointed out the hypocrisy. I pointed out the hypocrisy of how she would do one thing, and when the standard was held to herself, she did the exact opposite. We are seeing that opportunity again in this debate coming up tomorrow night for President Trump to do the very same thing. What Kamala Harris is saying, the lies that she is selling to the American people now, is the exact opposite of the record that she has had, frankly, as the incumbent in this race. She's been in the White House for the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years, not President Trump. And our country's in a disastrous position as a result, both on domestic and foreign policy. So she's not to be underestimated because she is talented on a debate stage. There's no question about that. But she's going to have a tough time trying to defend this record that, quite frankly, from the view of the American people, is indefensible.
When you observed her on the debate stage, What was it about her that created this aura where people were afraid to go after her? And what did you notice her strengths and weaknesses were?
It's a good question. I saw and experienced a lot when I ran for president, but really that between the leaders of the DNC and the leaders of the mainstream propaganda media, the fix was in. They picked the few who they wanted voters to hear from. And for the rest of us, they tried to destroy us. But this was one of the frustrating things about being on that debate stage that still continues now is the mainstream propaganda media creates this political theater. And they take very lightly the serious choice that we have as voters. And so they have created this false premise that whoever wins this debate, therefore, is the candidate that deserves to be president. Being a great debater does not qualify a person to be president, but this is Kamala's goal, Jesse. And this is why she's locked herself in her hotel room, taking extreme acting lessons. She's got Hollywood advisors to stage, the Hollywood lights, in the hopes that her friends at ABC and the propaganda media will declare her the winner, and that may be enough to trick voters into actually voting for her. I don't think the American people are going to fall for it.
So the strategy was just go undercover for 3 weeks after the convention, put all the chips in one basket in the debate, and then rely on the media to manufacture a win by a few jazzy sound bites and zingers, and then say no more debates, and then just ride out early voting until November? Do you think she could pull that off?
I know that that's exactly what she is trying to pull off. Her friends at ABC and the other mainstream propaganda media, they are doing their very best to help her. We've seen that over the last several weeks. The thing is that people in this country are struggling, and they're struggling with their cost of living, higher cost of groceries, gas, the crime in their streets, millions of illegal immigrants, tens of millions crossing our borders. There are very real issues and challenges that are happening today directly because of Kamala Harris and her record. And that's the seriousness with which they are treating this debate, to actually learn the truth about Kamala Harris. President Trump knows her record. He obviously has a record of success that he can stand on. And he's going to challenge Kamala Harris on exactly that and keep reminding voters who she really is, not the actor that she will present herself to be tomorrow night.
When you're there tomorrow night, you're advising Trump with debate prep, or they're calling it policy discussions. What do you tell him? What do you say? This is what gets under her skin. This is where I would go. What do you say?
You know, he's not focused on trying to get under her skin. He really is focused on the issues that matter most to the American people. President Trump is in great spirits. He is looking forward to this debate. You can imagine it's frustrating for any of us to watch and see the lies that are being sold about Kamala Harris and how much she's getting a free pass. And it's coming at a cost to the voters and the American people. So that's who Trump is focused on speaking to them, telling them the truth about Kamala Harris, so that they can make the best informed decision about who the strong leader is we need for our country now. And obviously, I believe Donald Trump is the best hope for us to have a better future.
I know for a fact she back there doing the rehearsal over and over and over. Like she said, she's been trained like an actress. And for the Democrats, this is lights, camera, action, man. And all we're trying to do is get to the truth. And they keep turning this into a circus, which is making it really complicated for the people. You know what I mean? Somebody said Comrade Kamala is going to hit Trump with the usual talking point lies, insurrection, impeach traitor, pandering J6ers, racism and misogyny. And I know y'all are ready. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is definitely how it's gonna go down tonight. And I appreciate Tosi for, coming in and giving her perspective. I definitely wish I can get that part too, but ABC, new ABC footage just dropped of San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. Being asked if Kamala Harris was his daughter from 1995. Now this video just surfaced, and
notorious for his flamboyant lifestyle, flashy clothes, fancy parties, fine women,
Are you his daughter? No, I'm not.
and fast cars.
You should from now on address me as the mayor.
If ever a man and a municipality were made for each other, it is this man, this place.
all right now, Kamala. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? All right, Kamala. You know what I mean? I seen, you know what I mean? I seen what was, you know, back then was like, you know what I mean? Oh, man. But y'all seen her reaction? It was almost like she didn't even know what to say then. Ooh, what about the night?